just came back from checking that last video, and I walked by a child, elementary school aged child, and he went bzzz, bzzz at me as I walked by, so I guess he knows my song, Flimsy. That's the way the guitar goes, bzzz, bzzz, that's right. What about the words though? The words that make up the song, the words. They're pretty good, I think, in Flimsy. I was very happy with the way those lyrics turned out. Like kind of gibberish, good sounding gibberish in that chorus, I think. And it made me think about how children are so vulnerable in front of their TVs, you know. Oops, I said it again. I'm going to try not to say you know in this one. Children are very vulnerable in front of the TV. I remember because when I was a child, I adored my TV. I'm sure that children haven't changed that much. And all these children, they all love these people that stole my music. And they don't seem to know that the reason why they love them is because they had my music or they had my comedy. They don't seem to know that. They just like the face. They just like the image, which is a false image. And they don't make the connection. Me, as the author of that work, that is actually me that they're liking. If all they're doing is mimicking me, then it's me that they like. But they seem to dislike me instead. At least that's the impression I'm getting. Children, I never managed to have any. They're lucky that I didn't, because I wouldn't have been able probably to take care of them very well, given my kind of nebulous nature as an artist. But if I did have a child, I would not let that child anywhere near the television after what I've been through. And it's because children are so vulnerable and they're so innocent, and they will be steered towards hate by an evil crime if they watch television right now. The TV doesn't want to admit that it did a very sinful, evil, dirty thing with stealing my comedy and stealing my music in such vast quantities and passing it all off as theirs when it was mine. And so many stars had to be disciplined for that, and it's such a big, ugly scene that they just want to hide it all. And they want to bury the fraud victim so that they can pretend that I guess that it just never happened, when, well, it did happen, and it happened in front of everyone's eyes, in front of the eyes of millions. Now these new children kind of worry me because they're not old enough to remember when all this started 11 years ago. And I shudder to think of how corrupted they've been by the evil stand that broadcasters have taken against a fraud victim in this case. A whole generation now that they have, and they're going to teach this generation to hate an artist to protect their image. It's really a bad situation. You know, I said it again, sorry. Yeah, I'll do that. I actually love people, and I don't want to hurt them, and I didn't want to hurt any of the stars either that I ended up exposing with my songwriting and my blog writing. But it just worked out that way, and then once they were exposed, they got really nasty then, and they accused me of stealing from them when I was just being myself. So it's their fault, because they shouldn't have stolen my work. It's their fault. It's not my fault for rewriting it. I can't help that if I can't remember it. And it's not my fault for not remembering it, because these original works were all stolen from me, right down to the copies that I had on my person, so that it would be impossible to remember it all. I didn't have it. I couldn't refer back to it. I just lost all of the original copies to crime. And so I don't deserve to be falsely accused all the time of such a nasty crime when I'm the victim of that nasty crime. And what the police, I gather, and the lawyers who are standing by, and Google, who's standing by, and the broadcasters all standing by, what they're waiting for, I think, is for me to commit suicide, so that they can just say whatever they like and turn that fake page on YouTube into my legitimate page, and just rewrite all the history to fit whatever they want you to think now about it. I think it's ghastly. And when I consider how evil this world is, where we have this great standard of living, but look at how we pay for it with our souls, apparently, when we have to love frauds on the TV. Is it worth it to have a high standard of living when it costs you your soul? Something to think about.